21.2 is 17.1. So we have an ascending ladder of dumbbell snatches, single arm dumbbell snatches with 15 burpee box jump overs. Right here, it pays to be a Mayhem athlete because you did this workout 3 weeks ago. This is a redo, it's a test. A lot of us have done it. I think Lakeland, are you gonna do this? Yeah? So the following video, K-Star's gonna walk us through a warm-up. Darren and myself are gonna walk the RX'd athletes or people attacking this RX'd through movement tips and strategy, while Tasia is gonna bring it home with equipment-free and foundations, tips and tricks. So, come along.
Hey Mayhem Nation, hope you are fired up for 21.2. So here's how I'm thinking about this. The efficiency to be gained here is actually, one, being really efficient overhead with that dumbbell. We've got a lot of play when we're putting the dumbbell overhead because you can come in and you're seeing that, once you've cleaned that thing up, you can kind of sneak into this overhead position, straight up and down. Because this isn't a clean or a clear hang snatch, it's a pull, it changes the game a little bit. We have to worry a little bit less about this inter-rotation, more about, hey, this actually ends up being a curl overhead, believe it or not. So warm up, a lot more prep on getting your shoulders and arms full of blood than you think. I think that's a big deal. If you have access to an assault bike, cruisy assault bike stuff would be really good for pushing and pulling to get your triceps set and biceps set. The other thing I'm really thinking about here, and I'll show you a great overhead prep to get ready for this, is that the more efficiently you can flex your hip and keep that hip flexed, the less back you're gonna have to use to get that up. We know you're gonna fatigue and you're gonna end up leaving the hips high. That's the name of the game for sure in order to do this. So there's a couple things we can do to prep that position. So number one, here's what I want you to do to prep the shape in terms of getting your back ready and hamstrings ready. Is when we get into a position like this kind of split lunge and part of our warm-up prep, one of the things we do is a little bit of rounded back, let the back round, flex the quads. These just little lockouts here. And what I want you to do is just for a minute or so, practice, put yourself under tension, and see if you can get comfortable getting the hamstrings loaded and quads on. And all I'm gonna do is just kind of rock back and forth. I start to add in a little head, I add a little foot, and what I'm doing is I'm prepping the nervous system, prepping the whole tissue system to be comfortable, because this is a position a lot of us are gonna end up in. It's gonna be really difficult to want to load the quads, even though we know that's gonna be the most effective. Most of us are gonna leave the hips high, and if we're less or missing this hip range of motion, then we're gonna end up doing it all with our back. So again, in this position, if you can just do some rocking and get your butt rounded back comfortable with this load, that will help. So just again, give me a minute of some lockouts with some flossing. Now, the second thing that I think makes a huge difference is just a little hip flexion prep. And this is what we call our hip capsule mode. So I'm on this knee, left knee here, I'm driving in, and I'm gonna try to imagine pushing this femur out my butt. And what I'm gonna do here is play around with not collapsing into something that looks like pigeon. That's not gonna get us anything. I wanna be driving my knee out my bum. So what I'm trying to do here is play around with the hip capsule by keeping my line of force through my knee so that I can get a little bit more effective at being able to flex the hip at less cost. I can also kick this out. If I can kick this leg out a little bit, so here I'm straight, now it's out, and then I just noodle around in that same position, and it's gonna feel like, hey, I'm running out of hip room here, but I'm just gonna do this for about a minute or two max, and what you'll see is that if you retest this and come back up, it'll be easier to bring your knee to your chest. And the reason this is important is that if we can bring this knee to chest more effectively up onto the box, we can stay low and we can close the hip down. So notice I've got two preps here around getting that system primed. Those quick lockouts in a rounded position, plus a little hip flexion drill. And then if you want to do some downward dog-like things, fantastic. But the more effectively you can flex this hip to your chest, we're going to spare your back. Now check this out. I've got a couple other ideas for you. One, I want you to be really comfortable overhead. So I take a thin band, even a voodoo floss, hook it to the top, and I can do some lockouts here and get myself a good old-fashioned pump. Pumping here will be fine. I just want your triceps engorged with blood 10 minutes earlier. But what I love about this is this allows me to just play with some positions and get myself more comfortable in this overhead position. Just some simple lockouts like 100, 50. It's not about fatigue. It's just about feeling like, oh, I've got all of this space where I'm comfortable getting the lat open and being comfortable here. And again, just playing around as you're warming up, you'll see that it just makes it easier to get this thing loaded. Now check this out. My favorite overhead prep is double bands here. I just back away. I'm gonna hit this hinge, this kind of downward dog shape. Thumbs back, just like I'm holding the dumbbell in this overhead position. And what I'm gonna do here is just wobble around, work on breathing, and I can kind of add some twisting in. But this position is going to feed my ability to come from this overhead position to an effective push. So, simple ideas, getting arms full of blood, right? We've got 2 hip flexion moment preps, which I think are going to be crucial. I'll play around with some overhead. Now, the thing I want you to recover with, because the chances are this is going to be back barbecue. So once you're done, what you're going to do is throw yourself up on the wall, just like this, legs straight up. And in this position, we're going to lengthen that out. We're going to take some of the load out. We're in this position we were just training, except we can relax. And what you'll see is that this is a really highly restorative position. If you've got that back barbecue, bring your knees down to your chest. The feet on the wall will keep that flexion so you don't have to work so hard. And you can wobble back and forth here to get that thing baked. We're going to take you out of some of those that loaded position and just get some blood back in there. Now, the other thing that's great is in this position, it's easy to sneak a ball into that low back. So just getting that tissue pump to break a little bit, throw your feet up on the wall, 5 or 10 minutes per side, or 5 minutes per side, 10 minutes total. You'll see that this will help you feel like more than a mere mortal tomorrow. So, couple ideas on getting prepped, one idea about kind of getting yourself back to baseline. You're gonna rip this up. Good luck, everyone.
All right, so it's 17.1. We've done this before. There's lots of videos of people doing this. A couple things to think about. On the dumbbell snatch, it's personal preference, dealer's choice, whatever. On which way you turn the dumbbell. I personally like the dumbbell straight forward. Like I said, completely up to you. Couple things to think about. You can muscle snatch it.
Really?
Muscle snatch. So he's just all one motion. He's not catching it in a dip. This will blow your back up more. You don't have to keep going.
Okay.
You can just do a couple.
Thanks, Coach.
This will blow your back up a little bit more. It's a little bit faster. Maybe do this on your 10 to 20 round. Once you get to maybe 30, I would start more of a power snatch. The dumbbell power snatch is going to look like this. There you go, right there. We read the description. You're good with 2, it's fine. So he's catching it in that dip. We'd read the description. There's nothing in the movement standards right now. It could come out after 1,000 people do this the wrong way. And they may tell us something about changing the dumbbell in front of your face. I personally would try to do as many touch and go reps as you can. You're not allowed to bounce the dumbbell, but you do get a little bit of feedback from the floor when the dumbbell touches versus always changing on the floor and basically losing tension and giving up tension in your back. Your back's gonna wear out. Because I did this twice in 2017. The first time I did it, I think we did all from the floor dumbbell snatches. So think about that. Do some touch and go if you need to. Walk away for a second, come back to it. This workout, honestly, if you're more towards the top end, go a little bit faster than you think. That's pretty much all the things on dumbbell snatch. I wouldn't squat snatch it, but if strength is your limiting factor, good for you, man.
Yeah, get under that thing.
Or girl.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the burpee box jump over. So height for men, 24 inches, for ladies 20, line across. This will help split the legs like when Rich burpees. Rich is just gonna show just 2 burpee box jump overs the way that he does them. Over top, down, and right back through. With this movement, notice how he stays low. That's the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things with this is stay low, like Rich talked about here, okay? The dumbbell will light up the back. So staying low here on the box, both feet have to touch the box at the top, not at the same time. So if you notice when he landed, he kind of gave that little stutter step. That's fine, that's what you want to do. You don't want to try and just ground and pound on the box. You want to be soft on it and then off. If you're looking for a faster time, you got to get off the box quick, okay? If you're trying to hit, if you've done this before and you know that your times were pretty much like in the elite side of it, getting off the box, get on the ground and move. For those that may struggle with this movement, think about jumping on the box and then stepping down, okay? So coming up and then stepping down, switching, and then just helping you keep moving the whole time. The other part of this that will help your low back, and this is something that we've actually talked a lot about in the Mayhem Athletes side, is if you're gonna step up on the burpee, try and alternate what way you're stepping up. So if Rich steps up with his left leg, he jumps and he comes down the other side, he's gonna now step up with his right leg and then jump and come down the other side. This way it dispenses the pressure on your low back, rather than just always coming up with the right leg each time and then just pounding on it. Because like I said, this workout is a lot of low back. Stay low, try and be efficient, breathe through the movement. Think about moving at a maintenance pace, not at a pace that's gonna blow you up right off the start.
Do not use these.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing.
It's gonna be a little bit harder. I don't recommend a soft box. It takes more work than you think.
Yep.
You know, you wanna be a little bit safer, I guess, but it takes a little bit more than you think, landing and then getting off that soft box.
Yeah, it's weird. It was something like when we did it and then we did it with a hard box, you could actually feel a lot more stable on a hard box. And like Rich said, you land on this, you feel this kind of happen to it a little bit. So I think a hard box would be the way to go if you are comfortable with it. And as far as that, yeah, I mean, give it a go. If you know your old score, you know like your split times as far as through the movement, try and keep yourself on pace, okay? But yeah, we'll be good. Good luck.
Have fun.
Hey guys, 21.2 equipment-free version is 4x 10 hang squat snatch with a stick or PVC, 15 burpee broad jumps that are 36 inches wide, 20 hang squat snatch, 15 burpee broad jumps, 30 hang squat snatch, 15 burpee broad jumps, 40 hang squat snatch, 15 burpee broad jumps, 50 hang squat snatch, and finishing up with 15 burpee broad jumps. Hey guys, so we're gonna talk through some tips and tricks on 21.2, equipment free. We got Luke here. The first movement is a hang squat snatch with a PVC or a stick. So if you don't have a PVC at home, head outside, find a stick that's long enough to get those hands into a snatch grip. On these hang squat snatches, you have to make sure the bar comes below the hip crease and above the knee to do a squat snatch. So a traditional squat snatch, and make sure that there is no power snatch to overhead squat. It's a full squat snatch. Yep, arms locked out, squat snatch. My tip for this would be to get super mobile before you start going. So we want to get those ankles nice and loose, those hips nice and loose, the quads loosened up, because it's difficult to snatch a PVC when it's super light and we don't have the weight on the bar. So we're getting nice and warmed up for this workout. Aiming definitely for unbroken, keeping that PVC or stick up off the ground if we can. In 21.2, we also have burpee broad jumps. So standing on this, guys, we're keeping the fingers clearly behind the line when we go down into a burpee, chest to the floor. He can jump up or step up, feet behind the line, and then he's gonna jump over. So his foot did touch the line. We would call that a no rep, but he's gonna go one more time. So my tip would actually be to get closer to this line. So on this one, get those hands right up, a safe distance, so we're not clearing it. There we go, and then up and over. Something, as you guys get tired, he feels fresh right now, so he's jumping from far back. That's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you get tired, use that step up before you head into that jump. This is where I'd say you'd be recovering most of the workout, a nice consistent pace here so that you can keep moving. Hey guys, 21.2 Foundations version is 4x. We got 10 alternating snatch, 15 burpees, 20 alternating snatch, 15 burpees, 30 alternating snatch, 15 burpees, 40 alternating snatch, 15 burpees, 50 alternating snatch, 15 burpees. So we got a couple different versions. We can do a full snatch with a 10-pound dumbbell or a light household item from around the house, such as a canned good or a water bottle. And then on those burpees, we got a couple different options. We can do a traditional burpee, chest all the way to the floor. We can do a no push burpee, so we go through the full burpee movement without a chest to the floor, or we can do a push up to an elevated surface like a chair or box. Hey guys, we're talking through 21.2 Foundations. So for this workout, we have a hang snatch or a snatch with a 10-pound dumbbell or a weight from around the house. So this makes it fun. If you guys want to go around your house, grab a canned good, or we got a little roller here, that works too. So the traditional dumbbell snatch dumbbell is going to start on the floor, go all the way up and overhead from the ground. Yep, good rep, and then he can switch hands in the air or on the ground, whatever is more comfortable. If you don't have the range of motion to do a full dumbbell snatch, we can go hang snatch, so deadlift it up, snatch it up and overhead, and then switch hands in the air. Nice. That is such a great tip there. He's bringing it down to his shoulder first to get that tempo for the hang snatch. So whichever you're more comfortable with. Then we're going to have some burpees. So we're going up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, just like the other workouts, and 15 burpees in between. So we got a traditional burpee, chest all the way to the floor, feet up, and jump, hands clap overhead. So we can step down, step back, just like, or you can jump back. Either way is fine. There's a couple different options for a traditional burpee. Another scale would just be a no push burpee. So similar, we're going to go down to the hands without a push up, jump back and back up, clap overhead. We can step back, step up if you want, clap overhead. Yep, just like that, perfect. Is another option, and then our final option is some push-ups to an elevated surface. So we got a surface to alleviate a little bit of the pressure, and then you're just gonna go push-ups to this surface. So 3 different options for this workout. Pick an option that you feel most comfortable with, that you're gonna have fun, and something that you can keep moving through that might be a little bit challenging for you.